Hey, what's up? This is Jake, and we're going to go over the basics of terraform state files. This is a long time coming conversation. So, I'm going to use this Docker, this basic Docker example, and I'm going to close all this for you and make sure I'm in the Docker directory. Cool. So I'm going to run a terraform apply just so we have some resources to play with. And then I'm going to talk about terraform state a little bit. So you'll notice that when I did this apply, there's a terraform.tfstate file here. So Terraform will store the IDs and the properties of the resources it manages inside of whatever main or whatever files you have. So it can update and destroy everything. So it maintains the state of what is in existence in this state file. So every time you do an apply, like it's going to record what is created in here successfully and compare your Terraform files when you run a plan or whatever or refresh to this state file. Um, so this is the only way Terraform can track, and there's a backup as well, but this is the only way it can track what resources it manages. Sometimes it has sensitive information in it, so you have to store it somewhere securely. So we're going to get into how to securely store this in the cloud outside of your local machine. And restrict access to only DevOps or cloud engineers that need access to the state file, which really probably shouldn't be very many people. But HashiCorp actually recommends, like for prod, that you store them remotely. You can use Terraform Cloud or Enterprise, or like you do S3 bucket or whatever. Um, but of course, Terraform recommends the Terraform stuff. Um, but yeah, you can use like S3 as a remote backend, or even like backend databases and stuff like that too, like DynamoDB. So yeah, so we've got this applied now. So I'm going to do terraform show, and terraform show is going to inspect the current state. So here's what we're showing. This is essentially what it was showing that I had to type yes to, that shows what was being built. So this would be what's in our state file. So this is what it's building. So I've got my gateway, my hostname ID, image, like all that stuff. In order to just manage and know what's in existence, this is what is in existence. So that's why you'd use Terraform show. If you did it with AWS, for example, it would get instance metadata. So let me change servers to my single server deployment, and I can run a Terraform apply here because none of this is in existence. And we can take a look at what this might look like with that. It's taken a little while. So you can also manually manage your state, which I don't really recommend. It's for Terraform state has an advanced state management command, and we can list resources in that state file. So for troubleshooting too, if you have issues, you can always run terraform validate, which I did a video on formatting, and I used validate before, but it's just to validate that your configuration is good to go. So that's definitely something that you could do if you wanted to. So like if you have an AMI, for example, in one region and it's going really well, like the one I'm deploying right now, and you change regions, if I were to change regions and that AMI exists, but it has a different ID, then Terraform Validate would be able to come back and be like, hey, that ID doesn't exist. So, all right, so this is done. I'm going to do a Terraform show, and we can see what's in here. So when I was talking about instance metadata, so you've got your ARN, you've got all of your CPU information, your instance type, state, cores, counts, all that stuff, your DNS, private IPs, public IPs, which key you're using, pretty much everything you could find from the AWS provider for this instance, you're going to find. Same with security group. I got my security group information. So this is kind of nice. Here's I'm using Cloud9 Ubuntu AMI for this machine. All of your block device mappings, all that stuff. So this is also a nice way to get metadata back with that show. So if you don't have a default VPC in your AWS account in the correct region, you can go to the UI for the AWS Management Console and associate a subnet to something and add it if you need to. But just make sure you're in the right area because these resources might not work if they're not available in the region that you select. So yeah, if I were to make a change, let's say to this single server, let's say that in my main file I want to change something and I want to uh, take off this header 1 and just have this be plain text. All right, so this file changed. So if I do a terraform plan, for example, we should see a change. It's going to refresh the state to make sure that our state file is in fact up to date with whatever's in the management console, because sometimes people log in and try to change stuff. And then we're just going to take a look, and we can see here that this is all the same, except this user data, it says there's going to force a replacement because this user data, it can't just update that one thing. So it's going to update, it's going to replace that user data all completely. And then, so what happens if there's a difference and I do terraform show? So if I do terraform show, you can kind of see the same deal. It just shows you your state, right? So that's pretty much it for state. If you look at the, where is it at? Oh, it was up here. This has a hash to it, so like it was EB25 and they're talking about CB3. And if I come into here, there should be a user data and it says EB25. So my current state is EB25 and it's going to change it, right? So we can absolutely, change any of that stuff in Terraform. I'll just show you, just finish this. So yeah, as far as this goes, that's the basics of what a state file does. It just tracks what resources you have, so it can compare what exists with what's in your code, and make sure that it's consistent and that whatever it is you're planning to deploy, that if it's going to change something or destroy something or update something or create a new version of something, that's the expected behavior on your behalf. So every time you run a Terraform plan or a Terraform apply or whatever, it'll refresh that state and then give you a prompt to review the changes, like in mine, 1 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy. So anyways, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to do a deep dive on Terraform state and remote state management and some other things like that. But that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you have a better understanding of what a Terraform state file does. And I guess we'll just see you in the next one. Take care.